Hi, good people, it's me, Tina Z. Got myself a bit dizzy there. I am your favorite gender non-compliant ukulelist and vocalist today. However, I am not playing ukulele and I'm not singing to you. I'm doing Tina raps. Yay! All right, what are you rapping about, Tina? I'm going to tell you. Thank you for asking. I'm going to rap about gender. Ta-da! Gender? What do you know about gender? Oh, I don't know. What do I know about gender indeed? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up this thing right now. This is a swimming pool, a gender swimming pool. Yes, it's not a real thing, but go with me here. Let's pretend on this side over here, the blue side, let's say there's a cooler under the water. A cooler, a chiller, stuff that makes water cold. Let's say there's one of those over there. Clear over on the opposite side, there's a heater. I know that word. And it makes the water warmer. So over here the water is, let's say, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And over here it's 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So within this swimming pool of water fluidity, it goes from 75 to 95. Okay, so let's call that gender expression for all of humanity. You are in this pool somewhere, so am I. Okay, so then let's further assume that generally speaking, people born biologically male are more comfortable in the waters that are over by the blue side. And generally speaking, people born biologically female are more comfortable in the warm side of the pool. There are people all over the place in this pool, by the way. Your biological birth sex doesn't have anything to do with where you are in this pool, okay? Everybody's with me? Yay! So, Miss Tina Z, why are you telling me this? Because I'm telling you because there's an expectation that if you were born biologically male that you're supposed to be over here. Well, in my particular instance, I have had to pretend that over here is where I belong. I'm assuming that most non-trans people are in whatever water and they don't even think about the water. This is what I'm assuming. And I kind of know this from having discussions with cisgender people. Pardon me if you don't like that expression, but people whose biological gender or biological sex and their gender match up quite well. I've had conversations with people, and that's kind of the gist of it, is they don't even pay attention to the water. They're not even sure they're in water. They are in water, but it's nothing to them. Well, for someone who's not that way and the water is uncomfortable, can you imagine being in uncomfortable water all the time? Can you? I can. So here's what I've done my entire life. I've always been over here and it's always been too cold for me. Always. Since forever. So my entire life I would duck down into the water and I'd swim across and then pop up into the warmer water. And, yay! Woo! This feels so good. Yay! Happy times. But then I couldn't stay there, so. And then swim all the way over, and I'm gonna stop doing that. But you get the point. Then I'd have to pop up in the cool side again because that's what's expected. So where am I going with that? I don't know where I'm going. Eventually, I would just like to kind of be lounging around. I would like to not think about the water eventually. That would be a great life, I think. To not even have water be uncomfortable. Not to be discomforted constantly by water. That would be wonderful. And so I think I'm just kind of inching my way towards a more middle liquid. Somewhere in the middle. Make sense? Yay! Okay, so I'm telling you that because, did you see this shirt? Empathy. So I'm a big proponent of empathy. And empathy to me has nothing to do with emotion. And a lot of people get stuck on that, like, oh, it's all touchy-feely and blah, blah, blah. It's one of those touchy-feely psychobabble sorts of things and blah, blah, blah. Can't fit it into real life. Well, it's not. Empathy, if done correctly, is an intellectual exercise, and smart people do it. And if you don't, you're a dumb person. I shouldn't say that, that's not very nice. So empathy, I believe I've given this talk before, but very quickly, empathy, I teach empathy through the acronym, and it's not really an acronym, but it's initials, LTIR, LTIR, we'll call it an acronym, LTIR. L is listen, and that's active listening. Listen to understand, not listen so you can respond. That's a big deal. Listen to understand. Be curious and listen for information so you can become smarter about whatever that person's talking about. L, T is trust. Trust that the person speaking and you're listening to whom you're listening, trust that when they tell you about themselves, it is as true as the sky is blue. It is as true to them as anything else is true to anybody else. Trust that, T, trust. I, if you listen and trust that they're telling you their truth, I is imagine you are them. And if you cannot do that, and I can understand, I empathize, you might not be able to imagine you are that person. And if that's the case, imagine how that person might be reacting or feeling, or what their life might be like when they explain who they are to you. Does that make sense? If you can't be in their shoes, imagine being next to them and observing how they are in their shoes. Okay, that's I, imagine, and then R is respond. And I always emphasize this part. When you empathize, this does not mean that you must suddenly agree with something that you just in your core do not agree with. That's not what the empathy is at all. Empathy, though, is taking that edge off. And in this day and age, we could all use that, take that edge off. So if you listen and you trust that they are telling, when they tell you about themselves, that is their essence, that is their truth to the core. And then you imagine that, either imagine being them or imagine what it's like to be them. Your response should be way calmer, way more subdued, way more peaceful. And even if you were angry before, you should find yourself either not angry at all, or with that anger level reduced way down. So, anti-transgender people, when I tell you about myself and say that for my entire life, this water that I've been in, this gender expression pool, and I've been in this place where I'm expected to be, and I tell you this truth about myself, that this has always been uncomfortable. Trust me that I'm telling you the truth about myself, because it is the truth. And so it's up to you then, if you've listened to me for the past 9 minutes and you've trusted that this is my truth, and you can imagine that being in water. Can you imagine that your gender expression is a pool and you're somewhere in the water that's not comfortable? Can you imagine? How do you respond to a person like that? Empathy. Ta-da! That's all I have. Thank you for watching Tina Reps. Yay! Bye.